Picture this. It's the bottom of the sixth, 2 outs, bases loaded. Your kid steps up to the plate against a 12-year-old who already has a 5 o'clock shadow and throws gas like he's late for his minor league tryout. Meanwhile, your little guy is still waiting on his growth spurt like it's stuck in customs. Crack. Strike 3. Again. He trots back to the dugout looking like he just found out Santa is real, and you're in the bleachers thinking, is this the moment we finally admit defeat and go get ice cream instead of driving 3 hours to the next tournament where the same thing happens? Welcome back to the Cleats and Carpool Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Brian, assistant coach on my son's 12U travel squad, full-time chauffeur, part-time therapist, and today's solo act because nobody else wanted to touch this hot potato of a topic. Today, we're talking about when your kid wants to quit or you secretly want him to. If you ever cheered through clenched teeth while mentally calculating how much therapy costs versus just letting him play Fortnite full-time, buckle up. Because today, we're spilling the tea, or should I say the sunflower seeds, on the real reason 70% of kids bail on organized sports by age 13, why baseball feels like the puberty shuffle got turned up to 11, and why half the parents in the parking lot are low-key hoping their kid says, I'm done, so the family can finally have a weekend that doesn't involve $8 Gatorades and questionable porta potties. Don't worry, we're keeping it light, we're keeping it real, and if you're a parent who's ever whispered, thank God, when rain canceled practice, there's no judgment here. I've been that guy. Let's laugh about it, learn from it, and maybe save a few cleats from being hung up too soon. Grab your coffee or your third energy drink of the morning, and let's get into it. All right, let's start with the cold hard truth because nothing wakes you up like a stat bomb. Did you know that around 70% of kids drop out of organized sports by age 13? That's not just baseball, that's across the board from soccer to swimming. But baseball? Oh, it gets extra hard during what I call the puberty shuffle, that awkward 11 to 14 age range where kids' bodies decide to play favorites. One study from the American Academy of Pediatrics backs this up, pointing to overtraining, injuries, and that is not just fun anymore vibe as big culprits. In baseball, games drag on forever. Failure is basically baked into the sport. 300 batting average means you're succeeding only 3 out of the 10 times. And then there's the fear factor, dodging 70 miles per hour heaters when you're still afraid of the dark. But here's the kicker. The size mismatches explode during puberty. Early bloomers turn into mini-hawks, dominating with velocity and power, while late bloomers feel like they're bringing a squirt gun to a cannon fight. It's discouraging, and honestly, it's why so many kids bail. And parents, we're not immune. I've caught myself watching my son get overpowered by some 12-year-olds who shaves twice a week, thinking, is this really worth the carpool drama? But more on that guilty pleasure later. So why do kids actually say I'm done with baseball? Spoiler alert, it's rarely because they hate hot dogs or the smell of fresh cut grass. The number one reason is no longer fun. When size makes everything feel impossible, hitting a fastball that whistles past your ear, throwing across a diamond without it dying halfway, or fielding grounders from hitters who crush it, the joy evaporates quicker than Gatorade on a hot day. Burnout's a close second. Travel ball, private lessons, year-round leagues. Smaller kids often grind twice as hard just to hang, leading to total exhaustion. I've seen it. Kids dragging their feet to practice like they're heading to the dentist. Then there's performance pressure and fear, striking out repeatedly, botching plays, or getting steamrolled by bigger opponents. Constantly comparing yourself to Johnny, who grew 6 inches over winter break, shreds confidence like a bad ump's strike zone. Feeling too small to compete, that's a massive trigger. On the bigger fields at 12U, contact hits turn into routine outs, and power rules. Your son thinks I can't win against these guys, especially if coaches bench him for the early giants. Lack of playing time or visible progress just piles on. Why bust your butt if biology's calling the shots? Watch for those social and mental red flags too. Kids skipping games with lame excuses. getting moody before practice, or flat out saying, I'm too small. That's when the size gap starts tanking self esteem. And if a kid's whole identity is wrapped up in being the scrappy little one who outsmarts everyone, a slump against bigger peers can make them question everything. Pro coaches like those in MLB development programs echo this. They say burnout from overscheduling is real, and kids quit not because they lack talent, but because adults suck the fun out. One college coach I read about advises keep it light, make practices feel like play, not work. Solid tip for us coaches, maybe swap the extra batting cage session for a wiffle ball home run derby. Let's zoom in on that too small elephant on the mound. Puberty's timeline is as fair as a rainout and extras. Some boys shoot up overnight, gaining height, strength, and that intimidating presence, while others, well, they're still tying their cleats with help. Ages 11 to 14, brutal. We'll work on those cozy little league fields. Speed, contact hitting gets neutralized on the big diamond. Bigger kids chuck heat you can't touch, smash balls to the gaps that used to be homers, and physically dominate plays like blocking the plate or gunning runners from the outfield. Smaller kids feel like they're up against grown men, and studies on adolescence growth show that awkward phase can temporarily tank balance and coordination, making everything tougher. Let me share a quick story to make this hit home. The other day, I ran into a parent from my son Zan's old Grasshopper League days. You know, those coach pitch glory years where every kid's a star because the ball is basically teed up for them. We were chatting at Zan's basketball game, and I asked how her son was doing these days since they played together. Turns out, he's hit that wall and doesn't want to play sports anymore. The main culprit? He feels too small. Can't compete with bigger, taller, older kids towering over him. It's got into his own head, and that he just can't keep up like he used to. Those easy hits turning into pop-outs, getting overpowered at the plate. Heartbreaking, right? But totally relatable. He was a joy to watch playing out on the field when they were younger, but now it's messing with his confidence big time. This conversation reminded me how real the struggle is. It's not just stats, it's our kids out there feeling it. The confidence spiral is vicious. More bench time, poor results, and that nagging, why bother if I'm always smaller? Many quit here, not because they hate baseball, but because it feels biologically rigged. Kids often hide their real reason. I don't like it anymore, to avoid admitting the embarrassment, especially if coaches harp on size subtly. But here's the hope. Size evens out. Late bloomers often catch up or surpass in high school or college. You can think pros like Jacob deGrom or Josh Donaldson. They were undersized scrappers who peaked later, focusing on mechanics and smarts over brute force. College coaches stress this. Teach resilience. Late bloomers with great fundamentals win long term. And science backs it. Puberty boosts strength but can cause temporary adolescence awkwardness in sports like baseball, per pediatric research. Short-term pain, but long-term is not destiny. Hang in there, kid. Your growth spurt's coming, and it'll feel like cheat codes. All right, kids, if you're listening or if mom or dad is playing this in the car on the way to practice, this part's for you. Feeling too small right now doesn't mean game over. It just means you're playing on hard mode, and a lot of the best players turn that into their edge. Late bloomers and undersized guys who stuck it out often end up with killer mechanics, tougher mental games, and that I had to work twice as hard grit that pays off big later. So what can you actually do? Here's some real no BS advice from yours truly. Focus on what you can control and crush it. Size is not controllable. I'm short as hell and so is Zan. Lord knows I've been praying that he's taller than me, and that's just me being selfish. But his swing mechanics, footwork, bat speed, throwing accuracy, base running smarts, that's all his to own and yours as well. Work on perfecting those every day. Short, quality reps beats endless slop. Pros say smaller players who grind fundamentals early develop elite technique because they have to compensate. When the body catches up, boom, you're ahead. Get faster and smarter on the bases. Speed kills mismatches. Steal bags, take extra bases, turn singles into doubles. Late bloomers often become terror on the base pass because they've honed quickness while waiting for power. Think contact hitter who legs out infield hits. That's a weapon early and forever. Play positions where size doesn't rule. Middle infield, outfield spots that reward range and arm accuracy over brute strength. Defense wins games too. Get glove work reps, quick transfers, accurate throws. College coaches love gamer infielders who make plays and hustle. Build strength the smart way. Eat like you're growing because you are. Load up on protein, veggies, good carbs. Hit the basics, body weight stuff, core work, light resistance when cleared by a doc. No, there's no need for crazy lifting yet, just consistent habits. Many late bloomers explode once puberty hits because they've already built a solid foundation. Play other sports or take breaks from throwing. Multi-sport kids stay healthier and they become more athletic. Basketball for jumps and quickness, soccer for footwork, and take real off seasons, 2 to 3 months no pitching and throwing to let the arm recover. Overuse kills more careers than size ever did. Short memory, big heart. Strikeout, error, move on to the next pitch. Develop that gamer mindset and energy, positivity, making teammates better. Scouts notice heart and hustle way before they notice height. And remind yourself, your best days are probably ahead. Guys like Jacob deGrom was overlooked, undersized dude who kept grinding. That doesn't mean you can't do the same. Bottom line, kid, you're not too small. You're building a toolkit most early giants skip. Stay patient, stay hungry, talk to your coaches and parents when it's tough. The game rewards the ones who don't quit when it's unfair. All right, parents, this is your section because while the kid's out there grinding, you're the one in the stands or in a car holding it all together. When size feels like the enemy and quitting talks start bubbling up, here's what you can actually do to help without turning into the over-top sideline coach we all pretend not to know. First up, talk first, fix later. Sit down, no distractions, maybe over ice cream because everything's better with ice cream, and ask open questions. What's the hardest part right now? Does the size thing feel unfair? Listen more than you talk. Validate the feeling. Yeah, it's tough when everyone's shooting up and you're still waiting on yours. Kids need to know their frustration is real, not to just get over it. Check your own vibe. Be honest. Are you pushing too hard because you see potential or secretly relieved at the idea of fewer tournaments? Reflect on your expectations. Sometimes we project our dreams onto them. If you're stressing about college scholarships at 12U, you should probably dial it back. Kids pick up on that pressure faster than a stolen base. Shift focus to effort and controllables. Praise the hustle, the smart plays, the good at-bats, even the quality outs. Celebrate progress over power. Man, that was a great approach at the plate. Beats, why didn't you hit it farther? Late bloomers thrive when parents reinforce the technique. Smarts and heart win long-term, not just today's home runs. Get them playing time and the right environment. If travel ball's all early giants and bench time, consider a step back to rec league or a less intense team for a season. Playing time builds confidence, y'all. Sitting kills it. Look for coaches who develop everyone, not just the big kids. In multi-sport, it's a huge win. Keeps it fun, builds overall athleticism, and gives baseball a much-needed breather. Educate on the long game. Share stories casually, not the lectures. Hey, remember Jacob deGrom? Dude was undersized forever, then boom. Explain puberty timelines without sugarcoating. Growth spurts come when they come, and skills often carry the day later. But don't promise them and say they'll be huge soon. Focus on your body's changing, and so can your game. Prioritize fun and mental health. If moodiness, excuses to skip, or the I'm too small talk turns constant, let's pump the brakes here. A break might reignite the spark. Watch for deeper red flags like bullying and bad coaching vibes. Safety and self-esteem comes first. Your job isn't to produce the next big leaguer. It's to help them love moving, competing, and bouncing back from those tough spots. Be their biggest fan, not their critic. Cheer loud for effort. After a rough game, say, I love watching you play, man. Instead of breaking down every single swing. They don't want to hear about it. Small, achievable goals can rebuild belief. Let's work on one thing this week, bat speed or reading pitchers. And hey, if they decide to step away, support it. Quitting one thing doesn't mean quitting everything. Sometimes it opens doors to something they love more. Bottom line, you're not just a parent, you're the coach of life here. Stay patient, stay positive, and remember, this puberty shuffle phase ends, but the resilience you help build lasts forever. Okay, confession time. Parents, this section's for you. Raise your hand if you ever secretly thought, maybe quitting wouldn't be the worst thing. Don't worry, guys, I can't exactly see you. Family life's taken a hit. endless tournament where your kids get mismatched against Goliath, and you're emotionally drained watching the frustration. I've been there, cheering through gritted teeth while calculating gas money for the next away game. You're seeing the toll, exhaustion, lost confidence from those size battles, worries about injuries, smaller frames absorbing big hits, or missing out on normal kid stuff like sleepovers. We project our own hopes, pushing because we see their hustle, but deep down, relief creeps in at the thought of no more heartbreak from unfair matchups. And the guilt? It's real. Feeling bad for wanting a break while other parents' kids thrive, but knowing forcing it could kill the love forever. Pro coaches get this too. One MLB scout shared in an interview, "Parents, if you're burned out, your kid feels it. Step back and reassess. Best practice here, communicate openly. Don't live vicariously. Humor me here. If baseball is turning your family into a traveling circus minus the fun, maybe it's time for a plot twist. Aside from the sarcasm, it's okay to admit this. It makes you human, not a bad parent." Now, the dreaded "I want to quit" talk hits like a curveball, but handle it right and you might turn it around. Start with open questions. What's making baseball tough right now? Does size feel like it's part of it? Validate without dismissing. Yeah, it's frustrating when everyone's growth is different speeds. Address size head on. Explain puberty timelines. Growth spurts can hit late, and skills often trump size long term. You can share stories like Jose Batista, who was a utility guy until he was 29, and then all of a sudden he became a slugger king. College coaches swear by this. Focus on technique, speed, smarts. Things size can't touch. Differentiate quitting from a break. Try rec ball for less pressure, a season off, or drills where size doesn't dominate, like base running or defense. Avoid high stakes travel where early bloomers rule. You can also check for deeper issues: bullying over size, bad coaching, self esteem nosedive. Prioritize mental health. Sometimes a pause saves future passion. Build resilience without force. Encourage controllables like work ethic and fundamentals. Pros like those in youth development programs say baseball rewards late bloomers who smartly develop. Avoid the "never quit on a bad day" cliche, especially post-size mismatch meltdowns. Give time to reassess. For coaches, listen, adapt practices to build up everyone. Players, talk to us. We're here to help, not to judge. All right, let's bring this home with some real sunshine, because baseball and parenting is too good to leave on a rainy day note. First off, size isn't destiny, and this awkward puberty shuffle is temporary. Kids who lean into what they can control, mechanics, speed, smarts, hustle, often come out on the other side with an edge the early giants never had to develop. When bodies finally even out, and they do for the most late bloomers, those years of grinding fundamentals turn into serious advantages. Think sharper swings, quicker feet, tougher minds. The pros and college coaches we hear from all say the same thing. The kids who stick it out through the too small phase usually end up being the most coachable, resilient players on the field. Parents, you've got your own superpower here too. By listening without fixing everything, cheering effort over results, giving them the right environment, even if that means a season of rec ball or a well-timed break, and modeling that it's okay to step back when joy is fading. You're teaching them way more than hitting mechanics. You're showing them how to handle unfair patches in life with grace, patience, and heart. And if they decide to pause or pivot, that's not failure. That's wisdom. Some kids step away for a bit and come roaring back, loving the game even more. Others, well, they discover something else they're passionate about, and that's okay. Either way, you've raised a kid who knows how to navigate tough spots with your support as the constant. So here's the bottom line for everyone listening. Parents, coaches, players riding shotgun in the minivan, keep the fun alive, because if it's not fun, none of the rest matters. Celebrating hustle, the smart plays, the little wins, those are the building blocks. Remember that baseball rewards those who have heart, grit, and late bloomers who don't quit when it's hard. And most importantly, the real win isn't a college scholarship or an MLB contract. It's raising or becoming a resilient kid who learns to push through challenges, knows when to adjust, and always have a cheering section that loves them no matter what the scoreboard says. Thanks for hanging with me through this one, folks. If today's episode hits close to home, maybe because you've had the grocery store chat or you're staring down your own I want to quit moment, share it with another baseball family. Drop a review on Apple or Spotify if you found that this helped. And if you're watching on YouTube, give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let's keep this conversation going. Keep showing up, keep supporting, and remember, your growth spurt or your kids is coming. Until next time, we will see you on the field. Take care.